Welcome back. Well, today we're going to do a haul video. We have two stores that Jocelyn and I went to last week, both in York, Finders Keepers and the Goodwill there. I'm going to show you what we got. And the photobomb, by the way, this is the third time I've had to start this video because every time the photobomb kitty has just dumped himself right in the middle of the table, walked past the camera so you can see nothing but black cat, and I finally persuaded him that he would be in a lot of trouble if he did it again. So he's wandering around. I'm sure he's going to do it again. He is obsessed with the notion of becoming a YouTube star. Who would have thought? Okay, so we're going to get into this when we come back. All right, walking. I should probably start off with, yes, I am walking now. As many of you know, I had knee replacement surgery in October, and I'm just now getting back to walking for sport. I mean, I've always been walking around the house, walking around the stores. You know that. You see me wandering around thrift stores with Jocelyn on the Crazy Lamp Lady videos, but I haven't really been able to walk for sport until now. And now I am at 2 miles a day, which is really good. Not all at once. It's like 2 1-mile walks a day. Before my knee had given out, I was at 5 miles a day. My goal is to get back there. So get used to the sweatshirts. You're going to see more of them. All right, let's talk about Finders Keepers first. Now, we've been to the Finders Keepers in Hanover, and Jocelyn has been to the Finders Keepers in York. It was a little different. I found the pricing structure to be a little less favorable in York. And there were not so many things that caught my attention in York as there were in Hanover. But it was a nice change. So let's start with, I've got the list. And as I was checking out, I snapped pictures of everything so I know which is which, because very often there are the descriptions are just not really valuable. So I got this all straight this time. The total expenditure was $34.19, and that included tax because we didn't have tax numbers filed with them. We will next time. And for my $34.19, I've got 10 purchases. So let me start with floral dish. That's how this is described. And this was $1.25. This is a really nice dish. It's got some beautiful old craze and definitely has some age to it. And I was drawn to this dish because it just reminded me in some odd way of a piece of pottery from Southern Potteries that I had picked up some months ago and recently sold in my Etsy shop. So when I grabbed this, hand-painted Pottery Guild of America. So this too is hand-painted American pottery, and maybe that's why I saw some similarities. This was $1.25. The condition is perfect. There are no nicks or chips or anything. And like I say, it has this wonderful crazing on the front and the back. Some people are not fond of crazing. Other people just love it. I think it's beautiful. It really says this is an old piece. And in China, crazing had become so popular about 100 years ago that they actually began formulating glazes that would craze upon drying. So as soon as you took your item out of the kiln, it began to cool. It would immediately craze, and the Chinese just loved it because culturally they are just super crazy about that. And again, a sign of age. And that's pretty hot in Chinese culture. So, $1.25. That, I would say, is probably something that will go for maybe $10 to $14 in my Etsy shop. If I were to list it at eBay or, somewhere where I'm not trying to pass the bargains along, at what I would consider to be full retail, it would go in the 20s somewhere. Really nice piece. And as you can see, not Asian. Half the stuff I got on this particular shopping trip was not Asian, because I will get non-Asian pieces if they're available. But I know a lot of you are wondering, why am I always buying Chinese and Japanese stuff? Because no one else is, and they're leaving all the bargains for me. So I'm not stupid. I'm going to take them home with me. But this time I was able to get a lot of non-Asian pieces. And let's look at what's handled dish, she says as she picks up the Nippon piece. This is a beautiful little Nippon piece. We're talking antique. It's over 100 years old. It's simple. It does not have the features I ordinarily look for in Nippon. Obviously, it had enough so that I grabbed it and picked it up in the first place. But this is a wonderful little piece. And as always, I'm going to snap pictures and show you the close-up pictures at the end of the video. But this is nice. This was clearly made for an American or European market because it's not inherently Japanese in its design. But it's a Nippon piece, so we're going to have the characteristics of the Japanese porcelain that was being exported 100 years ago, which means hand-painted, very nice piece of porcelain, just of a style that's a little more European than Asian. That was $3.95. Quite a bargain. This is probably not going to go for very much in my shop, $12, $14. I want somebody to get a good bargain on this because it's a nice piece and I want it to find a good home. Objectively speaking, it's 100 years old. It's Nippon. It's in a European style. European style Nippon tends to be a lot more collectible than Asian style Nippon. I don't know why that is. It's just something I've noticed in the marketplace. So certainly if that were to go for auction, probably twice that. Nice piece and not a bad price. Oh, the next one. This is interesting. This is also Asian. Cup and saucer. Now, even with the close-up photos, you're going to have a very hard time with the cup because it is a sort of pale lilac gray lusterware with gilding all over it. It's like you look at it and the light just reflects right back into your face. And it could take me a few tries to get you a decent picture of this. So this is the cup and this is the saucer. It's also lusterware. The saucer is not marked, the cup is. The saucer, however, if you take a look at this edge around here is not white. You'll see that in the close-up pictures. It's a light yellow or cream. And we've talked about that before as a distinguishing feature of Japanese porcelain from about 100 years ago, that little cream band. And it's so common in Japanese porcelain that when I see something with a cream band, first thing I do is pick it up and look for the maker. And so far, it's always been Japanese, always. I haven't seen this in European China, although I'm sure it must occur in European China. There's no reason to think the Japanese somehow had a monopoly on little cream bands, but that was definitely their thing. So even though this piece is not marked, it is Japanese lusterware, no question about it. They don't match. I guess that's why they were $1. They are great. They are definitely Tidbit tray pieces. So let's take a look at what is next. Oh, yes. German. Here we have a hand-painted lidded pitcher. Now this would be like a syrup pitcher. It wouldn't be a cream pitcher because they didn't put lids on them. So, and you can see from the size of it, this is a decent sized pitcher. I was drawn to it because of the colors and the pattern and just beautiful hand-painted work. And it comes with a saucer, which is remarkably handy for a pitcher that's holding syrup or honey because you don't want that dripping down on your table. So this is a great piece. It's probably late mid-century, and by that I mean up to about 65 or so. Lovely, lovely piece. That was $1.50. Very good bargain. Condition is excellent on this. And this is a piece that is going to sell in the $20 range, even at my cut rate Etsy shop, because it's worth a lot more than that. Now let's see what else we have. Oh, Lusterware creamer, $3.36. This is a Noritake creamer. Very interesting because we have our traditional peach Lusterware band and black and white, but the little design here is a basket of lemons. And I recently had a set of salt and pepper shakers in my Etsy shop with a very similar basket of lemon design to this. And now I'm thinking, gee, I wish I hadn't listed them because I could have listed them all together. But Noritake piece, very, very pretty, definitely different. And I do not mind grabbing creamers and sugar bowls separately from sets. When I can find them available, I scoop them up because I use them for all kinds of things. I think I mentioned I got a green depression glass creamer that sits on my counter because I rarely put my measuring cup away, and my measuring cup is very utilitarian looking, and I figured, boy, if it's going to spend all its time on the counter, I'd just as soon have something pretty. Something like this, I could easily see myself using a piece like this as a measuring cup. And it's very easy to do. You just take your measuring cup, pour your water in, and make little marks on the inside, which you can do with nail polish or anything that, will adhere. And if you want to get it off later, nail polish remover will remove it, but regular washing won't. So you just make your marks on the inside, and voila. Instead of that utilitarian anchor hocking Pyrex whatever measuring cup, you have something that, you're not ashamed if it's left out. And as I say, mine is always left out. So anyway, pricing on this piece, as a lone creamer, probably $8 to $10, but it's a nice piece and somebody's going to be very happy to have it. Let's see, floral pitcher. This is also $3.36. Definitely not Asian. I grabbed this. This is filthy. Boy, it needs a washing like you wouldn't believe. This has the little Capodimonte flowers, and whenever you are looking for something like this in the stores, or you find something, you find these little flowers, check every single petal, every single leaf. If you find all of the petals and all of the leaves are intact, scoop it up and buy it, because there are Capodimonte collectors. That's what they're looking for. no damage to the flowers. And almost anything will sell if it has these little floral embellishments on it. So it's almost always a good investment, especially if you can get it inexpensively enough. This was $3.36. It's a very impressive picture. I'll show you this ruffling along the edge. Really nice. It's got a very European design, a little hand-painted flowers. Not at all what most people would consider my style because it's not Asian, but it's a beautiful piece. It was a great price. And as I say, I never feel like I am at a loss when it comes to being able to sell pictures like this, because this, in addition to being able to, put your cream for your coffee, your milk for your cereal, or as we were talking about with this, your maple syrup or your honey or whatever, this would make a great vase for short-stemmed flowers. So no problem with this. This is probably going to go somewhere between maybe, I don't know, $15, $18, something like that. And it's still going to be a very good buy for whoever gets it. Okay, vases. $3.95 I paid for these. It's a pair of vases, very pretty, sort of neoclassical, probably from the 1930s. They're unmarked. They've definitely got some age to them. Nice looking pieces. If it had been just one, I might not have grabbed it, because this is a style that is, it's becoming a little outdated. Now, obviously, if you do boho decorating, you're not going to see this as outdated at all. But for a lot of people, this is sort of grandma's pieces. So I might not have picked it up if it were just one. But it's two. It's a pair. And that means that I won't have any difficulty selling them. They are hand-painted. They're in great condition. I don't see any damage. But then again, I usually wait until I've got them in the soapy water in the kitchen before I decide whether or not there's damage. My fingers can usually do the walking a lot better in the soapy water. So this is a nice little pair. As a pair, they will sell better than they would individually. That's just a fact of life. And I think this is something that someone who has the place for it, someone's going to get this and say, I have exactly the spot for this. And that's probably how they are going to depart, from my home right into their new location. So $4, well, $3.95. I'm thinking somewhere in, $15 range on that. Okay, next, small Japanese vase. This is interesting. This was $3.95. It's a little Japanese vase, and it was damaged. When you see the pictures, you will notice that one of the feet looks a little wonky, and that's because I am still in the process of repairing it. I have built out the framework for my new little foot. I just haven't carved it into the right shape yet. So I'll do that. This is fully dry now, so I can do this anytime. But here we have a little Japanese vase. It's got a little flower painted on it. Of course, it's marked Japan on the bottom. On the back, there is what I believe to be a picture of Martha Washington. That's one of the reasons I got this. That was just so unusual. I see all kinds of things in these little Japanese pieces, but I have yet to see Martha Washington. So here we go, Martha Washington in the little vase. Now, I got this. This is not going to be sold. One of the people who buys frequently from my Etsy shop, one of my consistent customers, likes little Asian vases. I don't know how she feels about Martha, but we'll find out, because this is just going to go in as a little gift in with her next purchase, and just a thank you. So I like this. The front is great. We'll see how she feels about Martha. That's the part that makes it truly interesting and unusual. But it is a tiny vase, so it's not going to be sold. That's a giveaway. Let's see, $4.95. Here we go. Unmarked. I am sure these are Japanese. They are salt and pepper shakers. They have the heavy gilding, the moriage. I just recently sold a set of these in my Etsy shop that had a Satsuma design with the same gilding, the same moriage, but this design is very European. It's baskets of flowers, not at all Japanese design. Nevertheless, the gilding, the moriage, the shape, I'm pretty sure they're Japanese, even though they're not marked. This is a nice pair, and this will certainly go for $15 to $18 in my Etsy shop. But they're beautiful. Someone is going to want these, regardless of the fact that they are unmarked. And I really like those. Very pleased with them. The final piece, also $4.95, is Japanese. It's a little trinket holder. And what do they call that? They call it a trinket box. There we go. Okay, little trinket box, hinged lid. Mechanically, it works just fine. That's usually a problem on these. They give up the ghost after a while because the mechanisms that, well, actually it's the hinge, just started to fail after a bit. Very nice, hand-painted, and it's got the Lefton sticker at the bottom. Now, there were several companies around the mid-century that were importing. I'm sorry, I said this was Lefton, and it's not. It's Norleans. Not New Orleans, Norleans, Norleans. Yes, baby. All right, yes. Norleans has the sticker on the bottom. Lefton was another one. Otagiri was another one. And they identified their pieces with stickers, often foil. Yes, do you want to see this? Yes, all right. But somebody put a piece of transparent tape over it, and you know how I hate tape. I'm not getting the tape up without getting the sticker up too. So after I wash this, because it is dirty and it needs to be cleaned, and frankly, that tape is going to protect the sticker, the knife comes out and I am going to carve the tape away from the sticker. So what you will have is the sticker. It will have the tape on it, but it won't be tape all over the bottom of the piece like this. It will be cleaned up properly. It won't be something I'll be ashamed to sell. What are you doing? So a piece like this is probably in the range of $15. Not overwhelmingly expensive. It's going to look a lot nicer when it's cleaned up. But still, it's not something I expect to make a huge profit on. But then again, you know, most of the stuff I'm not expecting to make a huge profit. As long as I get enough money to pay the postage for the giveaways, I'm a happy camper. So that was the Finders Keepers haul. Now let's take a look at Goodwill. The total at Goodwill was $12.38. And one of the items on my receipt is not here. Jocelyn had found a very nice pair of glass dolphins, no, like a glass dolphins. Ashton collects those. And so I found a set on the next aisle. It's like a little 3 dolphin statue in Lusterware that I checked out and shoved in her box so it could go home for Juliet so she could have some dolphins too. So, yeah, I remember, you know, little kids, one gets, the other has to. It's a rule. So instead of like the 7 items, I think we've got 6 here. Let me start with this, $1.99. This is a beautiful Japanese Lusterware bowl, but the thing that I like about it is these crazy little chickens or roosters, pink and yellow. In fact, I couldn't help but notice how well they go with this. Lovely bowl. Ordinarily, with bowls like this, you have this beautiful white Lusterware and the great band. This one is peach. I have some with blue. And in here, you've got a floral design. So naturally, when I saw the chicken rooster things, and I don't know how to tell them apart, I'm not a country girl. I had to grab this. This was just too darn cute. And I think this is going to resonate with somebody. So this was a $2 find. We're looking at about $12 or $15 in the Etsy shop. It's going to be enough to allow me to mail out a giveaway and somebody else to get a good bargain on that. This, not Japanese. This is actually English china. It's from Worcester. And yes, for those of you who are in England, we know how to pronounce Worcester. Well, those of us in New England do, because we have a city in Massachusetts named Worcester. One of my brothers was born there. So, yes, Worcester. A very, very pretty piece. Do I have that right side up? I think this is right side up. As you know, Dinky Loves has donated some soaps for giveaways, and I've kept my eye out for soap dishes, and this is a soap dish that's going off with one of the soaps. It's a really, really pretty piece. It's just so, traditional American country, even though it's from England. Nice piece. That is going to go off with a soap for a giveaway. These are also not going to get sold independently. Japan, they are old. Hard to say what they are. I would use it as soy sauce dishes. If I saw this today anywhere, I would say soy sauce, wasabi, ginger dishes. However, the mark on it is old. At least, we're looking at least 30 years old. And Japanese food was not commonly served in American households at that time. So I'm wondering if they weren't mint trays or had some other purpose in mind 30 years ago. Because, as I say, Asian food was something you had to go to an Asian restaurant for. So I'm not sure this had a specific purpose at the table. But we'll see. These are probably going to be Tidbit tray pieces. However, if I use this on a Tidbit tray, I'll be drilling in right about here. So it will be off center so that we can show off that little hand-painted flower. Pretty Lusterware piece. The flowers are in this this is a darker one. It's sort of a dark pumpkin. This is a softer peachy color, which will very nicely blend with a lot of the Lusterware pieces that we have. And these are only 2 ounces, not even 2 ounces. So drilling it offset will not affect the balance of a Tidbit tray. And I thought it might be nice to have something a little on the side there. Who knows? Garnishes, people will use it for what they want. This piece, also from Goodwill, 99 cents. These are not flowers painted on the dish. These are real flowers that are, it looks like they are embedded into the back of the dish with some sort of plastic. I'm thinking this was a homemade craft project. Real dried pressed flowers. in the glass plate. And you can see the backs of the flowers here, of course the front here. I had been looking for an interesting glass piece because we've been talking a lot about drilling into glass for the Tidbit trays. And I'd like an interesting piece. That's what this is going to be. This is going to be our drilling into the glass project. And 99 cents. And the final piece, this was, how much was this? $2.99. This is not getting sold. If this were to get sold, I can tell you right now, general price range on this would be $35 to $60. And the reason I know that is because I love these bowls. So I go looking for them. And that is the price range I find them in. And believe me, that's what I paid for them. So this is just a really, really great bowl. And it stays with me. It's a good size for all kinds of cooking needs, but most important, a bowl like this, which is very heavy. This bowl weighs over 2 pounds. You take a bowl like this, you throw it in the refrigerator, let it chill, and then you want to whip egg whites for meringue, you want to whip cream, the bowl stays cold. Very important. So mine, all mine. Before we go, I want to follow up on the previous haul video because there was a piece, actually it was a set, and I did not give you an approximate price on it. Remember this, it was a set of 8 Famille Rose plates, 10 inches, perfect condition, sticky from tape all over them, made in China, relatively modern. This is third quarter 20th century, but they're gorgeous. Really, really lovely. Set of 8, and I didn't say what they would be worth. I actually did some research to figure this one out, and it's kind of scary. $5 for these 8 plates. Chinese Famille Rose plates, a set of 8, even modern. Probably $300-400 minimum. The reason for that is the condition and the fact that it's a set of 8, also 10 inches. So everything combines to make this valuable. A large amount of the value is wrapped up in the fact that it's a set and service for 8. The age is not as much of a factor as you might think. Certainly not as much of a factor as I thought when I was doing the research, because plates of this type, Famille Rose, that predate this by only about 10-20 years, are selling for $500-600 for sets of 6. So, wow. I'm not sure this is going to get sold. I have a feeling this is just going to be packed up, make its way out to the schoolhouse into my China box, especially since charging that much money and then the shipping charges on top of it, because with pieces like this, it's not just the cost of the shipping, it's the cost of the shipping and the packing, because insurance is not good enough. You don't just want the item to either get there or you write them a check if it breaks. No, you need it to get there intact, which means things like double boxing. And when I brought that out, I grabbed this one just so you could see a piece of older Famille Rose. And as you can see, the Famille Rose is almost a random pattern. We've spoken about this before. Famille Rose is French for pink family, and the French were the ones who created the designations for our Chinese import pieces. I don't know who it was that said the French could do it, but they did it. They went to town on it. So Famille Rose, you can see it's the same general style of plate. This one has more in terms of this background scroll work, but they have a tendency to look like design was just sort of splattered on them. Nevertheless, very pretty, very collectible. Rose Medallion is part of the Famille Rose family, and so it includes a lot of things, like the green cabbage patch, I can't believe I almost said that, the green cabbage leaf pieces, and you've seen those, the ones with the beautiful turquoise lining on the insides of the bowls and dishes. Again, Famille Rose. I know you're thinking green, blue. They're French. I cannot explain them. So, before we get on to our picture, because I know this is getting a little long-winded, these haul videos usually do, but you know, it's so important for me that you understand why I'm buying this. Looking at it and saying, oh, she bought something pretty. Now, I want you to know why I'm buying it, so when you go out to the store, you're going to see something like this. It won't be the same thing, but you're going to grab it too, because you'll know what you're looking for. So the Photobomb Kitty, who I'm sure you can hear his bells, he's around here somewhere, had chosen a winner for the soap dish and the beautiful citrus soap sets, and he chose Sharon Hester. I have no idea what she promised him. It was probably cat treats or a girl kitty, because he definitely liked that one. So we have Sharon Hester for today's soap and soap dish. We have Hope Walker for the Tulip Parrot bowl. Let me get that right side up. The Tulip Parrot bowl. And this one, ShinyShinyThings. So we need to hear from all of you. Leave a comment and we'll get in touch. We'll make sure you get your prize, because we've got other giveaways and we've got to get cracking on those. Okay, stick around for another minute or two, because I'm going to show you close-up pictures of all of these items so that you can see what it was I got and why I got it. All right, meantime, have a terrific week. I'll see you all next Saturday.